Let Sonny get in here.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. I have a legal note.
You want to take this one, Joy, or are you
Matt
good?
Gates has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
That's true.
Also, another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit.
Oh.
He has denied any wrongdoing.
That's interesting. Pay off the witness.
The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York.
In a whirlwind of controversy that has left many reeling, Sunny Hostin has gone absolutely ballistic after news emerged that her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, has allegedly turned informant in a staggering $500 million fraud case, a revelation that has sent shockwaves through both the legal and entertainment worlds. The scandal, which centers on allegations of insurance fraud involving a colossal network of fraudulent billing schemes orchestrated by American Transit Insurance Company, has seen Manny accused of engaging in dubious practices, such as performing unnecessary arthroscopic surgeries on patients and then fraudulently billing the insurance company for kickbacks disguised as dividends or other cash distributions.
Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon, is accused of scamming insurance companies that serve hardworking folks like taxi drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers by performing unnecessary surgeries and providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for kickbacks. The lawsuit alleges that these kickbacks were disguised as dividends or cash distributions, funneling dirty money into the pockets of those involved, and the company on the losing end, American Transit Insurance, which claims to have been ripped off for millions.
According to multiple reports, the case involves allegations that span several years and implicates nearly 200 defendants, all caught in a web of deceit that has been meticulously documented in a 698-page complaint.
Writing Tuesday for the Daily Mail, Sean Cohen dropped a bombshell that the orthopedic surgeon, husband of walking, notable, quotable, and ABC's The View co-host Sunny Hostin, Dr. Manny Hostin, quote, is among nearly 200 defendants named in one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York, accused or getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. The claim filed back on December 17th, quote, seeking more than $450 million in damages, alleged Dr. Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services.
He's accused of being a part of a $459 million insurance fraud scheme. The lawsuit alleges fraudulent billing, unnecessary surgeries tied to New York's no-fault insurance laws. You want to know the cookie to this whole thing? Besides, it's funny as hell that it's Sunny is over-the-top, sanctimonious, arrogant, blowhard, pain in the ass. She is on The View on a daily basis. Besides having that ability to look at her and go, ha ha!
Guys, this is why we need to seriously have a long, lengthy conversation about healthcare in the United States of America. This is basically it. So Sunny Hostin's husband was basically charged with insurance fraud. What he was doing was doing like fraudulent surgeries and then overcharging the insurance companies for him. This is what this is. So now, of course, he's now being named along with about 200 other individuals in a federal RICO charge case, guys. Racketeering type of thing, guys. Right?
The lawsuit is one of the largest civil RICO cases ever filed in New York and targets alleged misuse of the state's no-fault auto insurance laws. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Thwaites, has labeled the lawsuit as meritless and accused the insurance company of using the legal system to avoid its financial responsibilities. Thwaites stated that the real story is about an insurance carrier abusing the legal system to limit and restrict healthcare benefits to its insureds and their passengers.
Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The insurance firm, American Transit, was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Emmanuel denied the allegations via a statement through his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client, quote, denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier.
It is indeed an ironic twist that while Sunny Hostin is widely recognized for her passionate advocacy on human rights and equality, her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, is now entangled in one of the largest RICO lawsuits ever filed in New York, which centers on allegations of insurance fraud. This juxtaposition has surprised many, as the values she champions seem at odds with the serious legal issues he faces in his role as an orthopedic surgeon and business owner.
A fertilized embryo is 3 to 5 days old. It is the size of the pin right there. It is not alive outside of a uterus. It has no organs. It is not a life yet. It is not viable till it's 24 weeks.
You may not think that.
No,
There are at least 50%
this is
of
science,
Americans.
Sonny. This is science that's able to
50% of
create.
Americans believe that a human embryo is a baby. I'm one of those.
Well, then let me just check you again on the terminology.
Especially
It's an
because I
embryo.
went through IVF.
Wait 1 second. Yeah, but that doesn't mean facts change.
Here's Sunny Hostin over on The View, accusing Israel of war crimes.
There is an international human rights body of law. And when you look at that law, part of it is retaliation against innocent civilians collectively is also terror and is also a war crime.
What Israel is saying consistently is, if you want your water, if you want your electricity, release our hostages. In my view, that's not an irrational question.
And they should, but in the process, they should really refrain from committing war crimes.
They're not committing war crimes. The ones committing war crimes are Hamas. The use of human shields is a war crime. They don't want Israel to bomb them, and therefore they've surrounded themselves with Israel's citizens, some 199 of them, and some untold number of Americans, too.
Known for her no-nonsense approach as a legal analyst and co-host on The View, Sunny was reported to have unleashed a torrent of condemnation against American Transit and its legal maneuverings, accusing the beleaguered insurance firm of using her celebrity status as a tool to launch a malicious media smear campaign aimed at discrediting not only Manny, but also their entire family.
So he was scamming insurance companies, from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks. Here's a clip I want you guys to see of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme. Play the clip, Rob.
Wait, hold on. Let Sunny get in here.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we aren't a violent country, this country was built on violence.
Joe Rogan discussed the lawsuit. While Hostin claims the lawsuit is a baseless smear campaign, most of his co-defendants have already settled, leaving him to fight the case alone. Rogan also highlighted broader issues of fraud in the medical industry, mentioning cases where doctors performed unnecessary surgeries and treatments purely for profit.
But I do know that doctors...
But this happens all the time. I mean, maybe not this, but there's provider-side fraud that is very well known, and people have been called out for it.
There's a doctor that I was just watching this whole thing on where he, I think it was 200 people he treated, it might have been more, that did not have cancer, and he gave them chemotherapy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He falsely diagnosed them as having cancer and then treated them with for cancer. Yeah, and some of them got really sick and died.
Well, yeah, it's chemo.
Yeah, it's chemo. It's from killing you. And it wrecks your health. So even if you survive it, like your body's wrecked for a long time afterwards.
And did he do this just for money?
For money, yeah.
He specifically referenced a Detroit area oncologist who falsely diagnosed over 500 patients with cancer, administering chemotherapy to healthy individuals and billing $34 million in fraudulent claims. Broader issue of unnecessary surgeries for financial gain, including back surgeries. Some doctors resist alternative treatments like stem cells to maintain their revenue.
Well, that cancer and chemotherapy is one of those weird ones where the doctors profit off of each chemotherapy.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. $34 million in fraudulent. A Detroit area hematologist oncologist was sentenced today to serve 45 years in prison for his role in a healthcare fraud scheme that included administering medically unnecessary infusions or injections to, it's 553 individual patients, and submitting to Medicare and private insurance companies approximately $34 million in fraudulent claims.
This is the sickest thing I've ever heard.
Sunny Hostin revealed that her family has put American Transit on notice and is considering countersuing the insurance company for $5 million for defamatory claims. She stated that the amount could increase due to the reputational damage caused by the insurance company. Hostin's attorney, Mark Geragos, sent a letter to American Transit's legal team threatening to countersue if they do not withdraw the case and issue a public apology.
No, they were sending fake claims, and the claims was they was paying the claims.
They're sending fake bills.
The company was paying the.
Why is a transit insurance company paying medical bills?
Because it's an insurance company.
Insurance company for people in the transit industry, which is a huge industry in New York.
People who get hurt.
They was selling
people
fake
who work
bills.
in the transit industry, you don't get insurance. So this is a private insurance company that's specifically for that industry.
Okay, I see.
Yes, and people is just, it seemed like they was just sweeping money on it.
Claims.
Sunny Hostin is no new to controversy. On November 20th, 2024, Sunny faced an awkward moment on The View when she was forced to read a legal disclaimer on air after criticizing Matt Gaetz over allegations related to a Department of Justice case. Hostin had passionately discussed the accusations against Gaetz, calling them invented and expressing disbelief that he was nominated for Attorney General despite the allegations. Shortly after, co-host Whoopi Goldberg interrupted to inform Hostin that she had a legal note to read. Hostin appeared visibly unsettled as she read the disclaimer, which stated that Gaetz had denied all allegations and that the DOJ investigation was closed without any charges being filed.
Sunny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
And the one thing that I will say again is I never want to hear people talking about meritocracy. I don't want to hear people from the right talking about DEI and a lack of qualifications for certain jobs, because you have someone like Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who went to Harvard undergrad, Harvard Law School, was a DC Circuit Court of Appeal judge, has reams and reams of qualifications, and you have someone like Matt Gaetz, who does not have that kind of resume, being placed as the head of the largest law enforcement organization in our country.
Sunny has been outspoken about former President Donald Trump on various occasions. She expressed profound disappointment following the 2024 election, voicing concerns for her children's future and criticizing Trump's views on deportations as dim-witted and crazed. Hostin explained the impeachment process on The View and warned of Trump's potential diabolical plans for a third term, pointing to Republican efforts to amend the Constitution. She has also mocked Trump, highlighting his controversial statements and actions, which has sparked significant reactions and left audiences speechless.
I have something to say about this Long Live the King. It's very interesting. Political commentator and journalist Ezra Klein, I talked about him last week. He wrote in the New York Times, he's excellent, don't believe Trump.
Yeah.
And what he said is that Trump has never really wanted to be president. He actually has always wanted to be king. And he also says that his plan this time is to first play king on television. And if we believe he is already king, we will be likelier to let him govern as a king. So don't believe him, because right now what we're seeing is he's waving his scepter, his king scepter. Yeah. Congestion pricing is gone. Right. He's waving his scepter.
Although I'm pro-congestion pricing being gone, and Whoopi would agree with me. Greg Gutfeld is known for his provocative style and for not holding back his opinions when it comes to his critics. And there have been moments on his show where he appears to mock Sunny Hostin's commentary by implying that her opinions might not entirely be her own. In some segments, his jabs suggest that her viewpoints are, in part, a reflection of her husband's perspectives, a remark that fits into his broader pattern of using humor and controversy to challenge the views of his guests and co-hosts.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
What do you think about Sunny Hostin's explosive reaction and the unfolding drama in this monumental fraud case? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned until next time.